7 days of hell, the pain of liver failure. I'll never forget it. I was taken to the hospital, blue lighted, in October 2019. I was in the hospital for about 3 weeks. Eventually they told me I had cirrhosis of the liver, which is devastating. Ascites fluid, which is caused by cirrhosis, and spontaneous bacterial peritonitis, which is a very, very serious infection which can kill you. The chance of getting out of hospital alive were 50-50. I did get out alive, and I went to stay with my elderly parents because I wasn't capable of looking after myself in my own flat. I stayed over there over Christmas, and in January I had another appointment to go to the hospital, about mid-January. So New Year came, and I couldn't get basically out of bed for 7 days. And I just sort of looked out the window all day, and I couldn't sleep at night. And the pain I had was unbelievable. I had this massive hernia, which was caused with all this fluid. So all I can do is, it was about the size of 2 tennis balls. And I was told by the doctors that this very thin skin, when it fills with fluid, it's about that big. You can imagine your belly button, and I had this little split at the top, but it hadn't split open. And the doctor said it may start to split, and you may bleed a little bit. Anyway, so I'm lying in bed a couple of days. I couldn't get out of bed, really, just maybe nip the loo, that was about it. My parents had a stair lift. I couldn't even go down. I was so big with this fluid. I had masses of litres of fluid on my stomach. And I would lie in bed and try and turn over, and the pain, I mean, I've been stabbed before. But when I was stabbed, I knew the doctors could fix me. I didn't know what was wrong with me here, really. I knew I had liver problems. But the pain was excruciating from this fluid, because the fluid builds up in your stomach, and your stomach becomes massive. And it becomes hard to the touch. Can you listen to this? Hear this? That's what it was like on my stomach. It was that hard. It wasn't a hollow sound where you tap your tummy and there's a hollow sound. It was just completely solid stomach. And every time I turned over a little bit, I get a bit of relief, because I was sitting on my back. The pain was incredible. I don't know how to describe it. It was like somebody putting a needle inside and twisting it and turning it continuously. It was horrific. Absolutely horrific. And so after that, another couple of days went by. It was early January. It was the start of COVID. It's typical, isn't it? I'm in hospital, in our hospital I was, with this COVID going on. And I laid in the bed, and one night I got up for a pee, and I noticed all this blood on the floor. I'm thinking, fucking hell. And my hernia had split, and there was blood everywhere. And I was told, I'd researched that if this splits, you're a goner, really. So what my old elderly parents up there called an ambulance. There was a right chaos in the house. There's blood all over the floor, all over the carpets. This ambulance team turned up very quickly because it was losing quite a lot of blood. And they took me into hospital, and they managed to do a temporary fix on it, on this split. Anyway, I got discharged from there, came back again. A couple of weeks later, I had this split, obviously, it had a bandage on it, a dressing. And I was told that the nurse would go every 2 or 3 days to change this dressing. I knew one was coming, February time, early February, about 2 o'clock. So I'm looking at this plaster, and I just moved the plaster just a touch on this hernia. There was nobody in the lounge at the time. And I pulled the plaster up, and it started to bleed, and the bleeding wouldn't stop. So she turned up. It was coincidental that she turned up just at that time, and she couldn't stop the bleeding. Rang 999, and an ambulance crew turned up, 2 paramedics, and they looked panicky, to be honest. I had all these veins showing all the way up here. And if you Google ascites fluid and get an image, you'll see what it's like. It's a massive stomach. And they put 2 blast bandages on me, and it was still coming out of my hernia. I didn't feel pain, and I was so shocked. And they couldn't get me in a chair. They had to put a stretcher. But while I was carrying me to the stretcher, I'd lost a lot of weight by then, on the stretcher, and put me in this emergency ambulance. And I remember them taking me to the sort of local A&E department on a blue light with sirens. There was very little on the road because it was COVID, you see. And I got wind that the other paramedic in the back was basically radioing ahead to say get a crash team. And it took me straight into resus. And I've been at resus as a police officer to see victims of road accidents, all this sort of thing, victims of crime. But I'd never been in myself. As a patient, I was just scared witless. Got me in there, and there was a surgeon already with a kit, the stitch-up kit, I would call it. And he basically said to me, there's no time for anaesthetic. We're going to just stitch you up. If we can't stitch you up, there's not much else we can do. That's basically how it was put to me. So all these nurses and doctors putting things in me, taking stuff out, doing tests, urgent blood tests, all this for hemoglobin levels and all that levels, and I was just completely shocked. To be honest, I could hardly speak, really, to be fair, and pushed me down the table, and he stitched this thing up. I don't know how long it took, and I was in resus for a few hours then, and they put this huge bandage across this split. It was only about 2 inches long, but if I'd continued to bleed, I would have got infection in the peritoneum, and it would have killed me. Anyway, the next 2 days came, and I got the head of surgery came down, lovely guy, and he said, we're going to cut that hernia out, and we're going to get rid of all the fluid, and then we'll start other things after that. Because he said, if that gets infected, you're gonna die. Simple as that. That was the shock of that. But the pain of all this fluid was absolutely excruciating. And you know, people are in the pub I've spoken to today, yesterday, and times before, they'll just say, oh, well, I'll be all right, I've got to die or something, you know. But liver disease, there's so many different facets to it, so many different ways you can die. It's so painful, it's an elongated, horrendously torturous disease, an illness. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy, to be honest. You've got to think about these things. Next time you think, oh, I'm going to have a drink, I can just control it, I might have one. That one that I had after 8 years sober nearly killed me. Well, it did. It was to the point of death, wasn't it? Because when you stop and start all the time, it gets worse. So you might walk by the pub and say, oh, everyone's having a good time in that booze, I'm going to go and have one or two. Don't effing do it, because it's going to kill you. It nearly killed me, and I was pretty fit when I was young. It's because I didn't smoke, I was very fit, and all my other organs were okay that actually survived this. And they put a little stent in my liver after that, and things sort of settled down. So I was in that hospital for 2 to 3 years. I was in a wheelchair 3.5 years ago. Now I go to the gym and I go on holiday and I'm fine. So there is hope out there. Don't lose hope. But if you're at the stage where you can stop, and then all you've got to do is a battle of wills in your head to not drink again, you've got a good chance of getting off. But you've got to get the mindset right. And I'll do one-to-one mentoring and support. I'll put a link in the description of this video. It's something which will help you. It's helped a lot of people. I've helped a lot of people recently. I've only been doing this 14 months, but I know exactly how you feel. Doctors are great. They can give you a prescription. Surgeons can stitch you back together and all this carry on. But not only an alcoholic or a heavy drinker or a problem drinker will know how you are feeling. And that's how I get my message across. And I'll get you off the booze. I'll do my best to get you off the booze. I don't want anybody to go through what I went through. It was complete and utter madness. And my life crumbled faster than snow off a dike. That's how quickly it went down. From being a very confident young man, I started to drink heavily. I got into a habit of drinking heavily, then I became addicted to it. And it caused me all manner of problems. There was a whole world of trouble for me, and my family and everything else just broke down. One thing happens, the next thing will happen, and so on and so on. When you get sober, everything will work for you. Everything will repair. Your body will fight for you if you give it a chance. If you keep pouring liquor down your neck, you're going to die early. You're going to be disabled early. Something's going to happen to you, and you won't survive long. If you benefit from these videos, please subscribe, like and share. And if you want to talk about any topics, then drop me a line. I'm also doing some lives now. Get involved with that. There's a lot of people on there, a lot of knowledge on here, and we can all help each other. And just to remind you, liver failure and associated diseases through alcohol kill millions every year.